Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'll be talking about the difference between sleep training and a holistic sleep coaching approach. I often say that I'm not here to claim that a holistic approach to sleep is the right way for everyone, and I'm certainly not here to judge. I'm just here to provide an alternative option for those who are interested. Because over many years of supporting families, I've seen a growing interest in this new approach to managing sleep. However, despite the growing demand for this style of sleep support, there's still a lot of confusion and misunderstanding about what it's really about. If you're excited to hear this, then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. That way you'll be notified when we release a new video every single week. Welcome to the hub of responsive, attachment-focused sleep solutions. I'm Dr. Lyndsey Hookway, paediatric nurse, responsive sleep and parenting advocate, author and researcher. Through our holistic sleep coaching program, we teach and mentor sleep coaches to enable them to support a rapidly growing number of parents who are specifically looking for this style of sleep support and reject mainstream non-responsive sleep training approaches. I literally wrote the book on holistic sleep coaching, so you're definitely in safe hands today. Stick around and I'll share why this way of working is changing so many lives and how you can be part of the holistic sleep coaching revolution. Lucy Bagwell is one of our graduates who has grown a thriving business supporting parents who are specifically looking for this type of sleep support. Lucy didn't have a background in childcare, health or infant feeding. She had a completely different working history, and after the birth of her first child became fascinated by the world of sleep and how much angst there is in the wider sleep world. After completing the holistic sleep coaching program, she went on to grow a fantastically successful and in-demand business that supports families with sleep in a responsive, respectful way, all without mainstream sleep training. So let's talk about that loaded term sleep training. I appreciate that some people use the word sleep training as an umbrella term for any type of sleep support, including very gentle options. If you're a sleep coach or consultant and you do this, then it can be problematic. You see, when you Google sleep training, the hits you'll get on the first and probably second and third pages of your internet search will all relate to a non-responsive style of sleep management. This can really put off parents who are absolutely not here for that style of sleep support. So what does sleep training mean for most people, including me? Sleep training tends to refer to an approach that has its origins in a behavioural style. Behaviourism was popular from about the 1920s, and its proponents, psychologists like John Watson, believed that observable outward behaviours are created and reinforced by a prior trigger or event. Many behaviourists did not separate animal behaviour from human behaviour, so they believed that the stimulus-response association was present across all mammals. In the case of sleep, behaviourism states that a child's waking pattern is created and reinforced by the parent going to the child to soothe, rock or feed them, leading to a pattern of the child expecting that behaviour when they wake up. Behaviourism particularly gathered momentum in the United States. It wasn't quite so popular in Europe, where alternative theories were being developed at the same time. Now, if this all sounds very familiar, it's because most sleep training principles are based on behaviourism, and therefore mainstream sleep training usually seeks to stop the parental behaviour, such as rocking, holding, promptly responding or feeding, in order to stop the child waking. But this is where it gets tricky for behaviourism, because this doesn't always work, does it? How many times have you heard a parent say that their child falls asleep independently and yet wakes frequently in the night? And conversely, how many times have you heard a parent say that they feed, cuddle or rock to sleep and their child sleeps all night? I know I've observed both these patterns hundreds of times, and I wonder if you have too. What behaviourism failed to acknowledge was the complexity of human thought and the interaction of attachment, innate behaviours, genetics, the impact of the environment and nurture, rational thought, interaction with the world around us, and different capacities for learning. There is no question that human infants can develop preferences for how they want to be held, fed, interacted with, or responded to. But what a behaviourist approach to sleep didn't acknowledge is that all infants are not just a product of stimulus and response, but are also influenced by relationships. It also failed to understand that night waking is not simply a behaviour that can be extinguished, but a human outward expression of the need for connection. Lastly, it didn't appreciate the safety aspects of night waking, the biological need for night feeds, or the round-the-clock meaning of attachment and bonding. I wonder if this is beginning to shine a light on any gaps you've ever wondered about in the mainstream sleep training narrative. Have you ever been taught about sleep with this behaviourist lens? I'd love to know about what you felt was missing. Let me know in the comments. So if sleep training is often closely coupled with behaviourism, how is a holistic sleep coaching approach different? Well, holistic sleep coaching is an approach that recognises the complexity of sleep that is missing from a mainstream sleep training style. Often with sleep training, the solution is a specific technique that is applied in isolation to a specific sleep problem, such as problematic naps, a protracted bedtime, frequent night wakes, or early rising. But a holistic sleep approach considers the multiple layers of influence on a child and their family. It adopts a family-centred approach, respects and values the inherent wisdom of parents about their child, and considers the context and urgency of the situation, while also prioritising attachment, close loving relationships, bonding and trust. At the same time, it acknowledges biologically normal infant and young child sleep and behaviour and seeks to optimise sleep in an age and developmentally appropriate way, rather than coax children into premature independence that they're not ready for, either relationally or nutritionally. Holistic sleep coaching also considers a child's physical and mental health, their sensory needs and sensitivities. It draws heavily on sleep biology and science, is culturally nuanced and mindful of context and the impact of regulation and co-regulation. Sleep coaching is deeply individual, since all these factors are variable and specific to each family. It does not prescribe a cookie-cutter approach to addressing sleep problems, but rather considers all the factors simultaneously and holistically. But sleep training has mass appeal. Why? The main techniques of controlled crying, cry it out, pick up, put down, and the disappearing chair, which all have their roots in behaviourism, are not necessarily easy to execute. In fact, they're often really difficult and stressful for parents, aren't they? But although they're not easy to do, they are simple to explain. They don't take long to teach or write about. They can be quickly discussed with families without a lot of discussion into the other variables and factors that could also be influencing sleep. They are, in essence, a standalone solution, and that's really appealing for tired and busy parents and sleep trainers alike. So why would you reject sleep training and adopt a holistic sleep coaching approach instead? Well, I'm going to suggest 5 reasons. Firstly, this is what parents want. Clearly not all parents, but if you've been watching the sleep space for a while, you cannot have failed to notice that more and more parents are keen to find solutions that do not involve leaving their young children alone to cry or do things that go against their gut instinct. There is a rapidly growing demand for sleep coaches who are well trained in the complexities and subtleties of sleep and can support families in a responsive and holistic way. Secondly, it's more evidence-based. Behaviourism has largely been rejected and heavily criticised for its flaws in understanding and interpretation of human behaviour. Humans behave fundamentally differently to animals, and lumping all mammals together and assuming that we are all driven by the simplistic stimulus-response association ignores the complexity of the human species. Thirdly, it's a more satisfying way to work, enabling you to really delve into the nuance and get your thinking cap on. Many holistic sleep coaches really enjoy the detective work that goes on to find creative and successful solutions for families that feel like a win-win when sleep is optimised but responsiveness is not compromised. Fourthly, It gives families more confidence and broader skills and tools. A mainstream sleep training approach usually only provides a specific sleep tool, whereas holistic sleep coaching is really about parent empowerment, learning to understand a much wider range of behavioural and regulatory cues and build self-efficacy. These are skills for life rather than just to get over a specific sleep hurdle. Holistic sleep coaching supports the sleep hurdle, but also supports parenting and family life more widely. Many parents report satisfaction that goes way beyond just the overcoming of a sleep crisis. And fifthly, it's more appropriate for children with more complex sleep challenges or additional needs and differences. Mainstream sleep training doesn't always work for children with underlying health, feeding, sensory or other needs. It's not always achievable for families who are struggling with parental mental health challenges, as it's simply too stressful and guilt-inducing. A holistic sleep coaching approach, in contrast, unpicks all of these factors and creates a manageable plan that's respectful of the unique strengths and challenges of an individual family. Holistic sleep coaching is not a catchy mnemonic you can memorize or a tool you can quickly explain in a social media post. Unlike mainstream sleep training, it requires a really in-depth understanding of the many complex variables that impact sleep, parenting, behavior, and family life. It's not easy, but it is so worth it, and we've seen thousands of families changed for the better because of this style of working. If you're curious or you're already a fan of relatable, practical and sustainable sleep support that is responsive and evidence-based, then you can book a call with someone on our team to find out more about the Holistic Sleep Coaching Programme. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe before you go. Speak to you soon.